The last video just cut off about misunderstandings, but I'm finishing this video so that you guys don't misunderstand. So, I also want to continue this video. I don't have anything I'm reading off of. I do think I should start doing that more, but I'm just making these first couple of videos so you guys can see just how I allow myself to improv. Like, this is me just allowing myself to express myself and just be connected with you guys as in like a way that like, because like for instance, like I understand there's a lot of people that do a lot of like storylines and or they do a lot of edits in their videos, and I'm just like, that's not necessary for what I'm offering you guys. What I'm offering is something that's meant to be self-generated for your own embodiment. That's I'm essentially saying the messages I have to offer are meant to be taken beyond my own nervous system and integrated into perspectives that benefit you if they're in alignment with your highest good. If they're not, disregard them. Like, that's essentially what I'm getting at. And I'm saying a lot of the things that I have to offer are of spiritual sustenance, or a perspective that have a reason I'm saying spiritual sustenance is they have offered me a lot of in, internal insight and awareness and connection and essentially attunement to me, the consciousness, to my own body, the awareness, the innate, like, think of it this way, organic being that the receiver, the organic body that is able to receive intuitive directives from my highest favor regarding through a parasympathetic vibration regarding my highest favor regarding like, and the key here, the key thing here that I really want to expand upon is this is where people get the idea of tuning into psychic awareness and becoming aware of other, or for instance, tuning into and becoming aware of, or holding an item and having and tuning into the awareness of what happened while somebody was wearing the item or things like that. The reason that is able to occur, I've witnessed it multiple 40 times throughout my life because I was raised by a psychic mom. Um, and at first, the first couple of times, it's kind of just like, oh, this, you gotta be kidding me. This kind of just, oh, but no, like, and then like you start to see it, and it's just like, how did you know that? Like, that's the thing that had me like when I was really young. Like, I'm saying like 10, 11, like I was just asking like, how did you know that? And that's what got me into spirituality. I got into spirituality very young. I started reading books on expanding awareness. My parents would collect cookbooks, and essentially along the way they would find spiritual books that they would put in a cabinet in a library in my room, and then would lock it up and say don't touch it. And essentially that's how they got me to read by accident. So I read all those books, and they were about, and turns out they're all about supernatural stuff and things about, essentially just about like asking mysteries and questioning the universe and questioning like why things work the way they do, and why certain concepts, or like for instance why certain mysteries that are still unsolved today. That is what concerned me. Like when I would read books about like things that had no answers to them, that is what would be making me like, but that is all I'd read when I was a kid, or like I'd read, and then that's what got me interested. And then when I'd see people around me, like my mom, start to be able and be aware of certain information, I was trying to understand how it like put a wedge in me as the consciousness, my brain, my experience, my life experience, and how I carry myself, and go, wow, like she reads people and can help them, and has helped them, and has really been a guiding soul in a lot of people's lives. um, and I thought that for a long time I would diminish my own spiritual abilities, um, because I thought the highest form of spiritual capacity you can embody was to read somebody's relative, or have a memory of what they experienced. It wasn't until I developed my own relationship with my body and I de-shame, like I took out shame. I'm saying like I literally had to take the emotion, understand what it has to say to me, and then literally say, okay, I acknowledge that, and then hear beyond it, that I started to understand what, like, how I feel. like how I would like and what I would like more of and what I would like to express. And it's not always like I know what I like to express or I choose all the time. It's more about like as I make a choice, I move in what's in alignment with what I feel is in my best interest. And it's kind of like I kind of just move with that. And the more I start to quantify it and allow myself containers to express, the healthier and clearer it gets. And I've understood that the more I allow it to express like a muscle, because your whole body is a muscle, and it's your whole body is a muscle that you as the awareness is working through, and that's the electrical charge. That's you. And you're a little bit more than that, but there's you're light. Let's just put it like that, and that's why certain truth comes through. It's understanding that when you're confused, like when we were talking about in the last video, you can there's a lot of misunderstandings that can occur, and I would want to build off of this. Regardless of what you have to say, you have a lot of power that can come through your voice, and regardless of what you have to say, 50-50, you always has the opportunity to be misunderstood or understood. So it's understanding and disengaging the emotion behind that and acknowledging and recognizing with just reason and awareness that you are here and that you are present and that you are able to function and funnel through and express yourself through your nervous system. And I think it gets like when you're interacting with people, and it gets different like this. When you're interacting with somebody else and you're seeing that you have their own nervous system, their own conviction, their own energy, and they have their own presence, and it's you literally have to embody. And this is where I have to say this is where the beyond the nervous system stuff, you have to go work into the mind, into the mental, and then you got to get a little creative, and through that bridge it's literally spiritual. Through that bridge it becomes spiritual. It becomes a spiritual protection in a way. I'm not going to say all, but I'm going to say in a way, through that gap. And I'm not going to say it's always creative. Ooh, it's all no, it's not. It's not like you just it's not like everyone just throws on they just write something on a piece of paper and it just makes it work. I'm saying you have the inner voice. It has to move in alignment with your highest favor. Is what I'm so the best way I could describe it is like this. When I express myself, I just allow my highest favor to move in alignment. When I express with you guys, I allow keyword allow. Otherwise, if I did not allow, I would be tense right now. Like I said in the last video, whenever you feel tension, release that and then move towards expression. I'm just saying I have created an autonomic response to the point that when I start to feel tension in a particular way, I then replace it with the feeling state of expression. And I've just decided to start doing that in different areas of my life and implementing that. And the more I've started to do that, I started to realize it's just muscle memory, and it's actually just me allowing myself to just not feel powerless and embody an old narrative or an old embodiment. And I started to realize whenever I would get dissonant and my nervous system would start tweaking or feeling weird, it was because I was trying to embody a role or a perspective or make somebody like embody a specific power role and then try to fit into it and try to like make it work for my nerve. And I couldn't be inauthentic or anything like that. So like literally, like I literally just carry myself how I carry myself, and I'm just respectful, clear, and like I just want to be able to acknowledge and help people to go beyond and cut beyond all this woo woo stuff, and just understand that it's where it gets power is a regulated nervous system. Do not put safety outside of yourself. Put it interoceptively, not proprioceptively, interoceptively within yourself. We're not talking balance here, but we're just talking within yourself. That's another way of saying this is when we're talking about woo-woo stuff now. That would be in according to your mystic experience. You developing a connection to your potential within yourself. That's a mystical experience. A magical experience is you applying what you've learned within yourself outside of yourself and then seeing what that can create. And when you do that through a space of God, you see a lot of things come up for you, because you're essentially just saying, hey God, if this isn't my highest favor, let it come to me. Hey God, if this isn't my highest favor, I'm calling it forth. And anyone who tries to diminish that, like you know, you like you're just trying to get somebody's mental wrapped around your finger, like literally, like literally. That's a funny way to manipulate somebody. Like, we're here to like amplify people. We're here to uplift people, and I thought a lot of people were here to do that. That's also why when I started to realize there's people out here that don't want to do that. I'm like, well, that's your choice too, because um, regardless of if I don't allow myself to express myself in this manner or form, if I stop myself from allowing myself to express on here, I'll start malfunctioning in my own personal life. I'm just being 100 with you guys, because this is something, and it's not even on here. I'll go express myself somewhere else. I started to understand that it's because if I'm restricting a force, I'm restricting nature. What do you think is going to happen if I try to stop that? What do you think is going to happen? I have to release the tension. I have to create these videos. Like if I don't, then it'll just ruminate in my brain, and it's kind of like, what was I given this creative potential if not to express it? What is the point in creating art if it's not to be seen? And another way of form of art is creating your highest, embodying your highest self, and envisioning and picturing and creating that, and like allowing it to flow through you. And it's essentially through the perspective of your highest favor, in alignment with evolution and higher qualities, or God, essentially. So that's the best way to describe it. I said it in another way so that if anyone misunderstands from the last video, I said it in another way. Also, I want to say in the video on this, going back to misunderstandings, people misunderstand you regardless. Some people just listen to you to misunderstand you. Some people will listen to you to understand you. Some people listen to you to then speak. Okay? Understand that when we look through it from the perspective of a nervous system, some people may be attempting to defend themselves while they're going to express. They may be whenever they feel like they're going to express themselves, they may be autonomically going to a perspective of feeling like they are defending themselves. So they're becoming more tense instead of releasing that tension. So essentially what I'm getting at is, some people, when you're communicating with them, may be getting more tense and defensive rather than connecting, and that's what's actually happening. So that's why it feels like there's a disconnect sometimes. Or for instance, some people may be only taking, and for instance, if we're talking on a spiritual level here, if you're channeling information, this is for the little sensitive people out there. If you're channeling information and somebody calls you crazy, or just sharing something and it's really lighting you up, and you know if they just applied it beyond what they've seen, that it can kind of enhance their ability to be attuned to their own body as awareness. That's the best way to describe that. It's understanding that some people just take information from their peripheral nervous system, and that's all they know from their reality. It's understanding you're taking in information from what your central nervous system is telling you about yourself. You have a personality. You're listening to it. You're allowing it to express itself. And then what I'm getting at is, when you start to learn about the parasympathetic, and that's just a feeling state, it's just understanding that your expression comes through play. It doesn't come through tension. Your expression comes through expression. It doesn't come through restriction. Okay? It doesn't come through tension. It comes through expression and release. And the more you start to release, the easier it gets. The more often you do that, the more you can frequent it, the more it's easier to do, the more you can allow it to express through you in a particular fashion. It's only sucky because it's been sucky till it's not sucky anymore. You just got to get over it sometimes. When we're talking about nervous system stuff, you as a consciousness are you're going to be in your body at the end of the day. The reason I'm making these videos is because no one can escape their body. I've seen crimes against humanity. I've had certain things done to me. I've known what it feels like to be tortured within your body. Okay? And that's the only reason I've been able to hit these certain levels of awareness. And I hate having to get personal like that with you people, like, but like, it's true. Like, when you really think about it, when you really put it into perspective, it's allowed me to be able to understand and build a relationship with my body in a way that I'm able to be attuned with myself, and I'm able to not allow